What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Bullpen. I've got a real special guest for you guys because this is someone who I've actually gotten to know over the last year, right? Yeah. We've gotten to know each other through the Arte Syndicate, being around Ed and Andy Frisilla, Ed Milet and Andy Frisilla. And you know, listen, like when I've been in a room of some high-end entrepreneurs, so let me just tell you guys, if you guys don't already know, that room of entrepreneurs, when you walk in, they're all producing millions and millions of dollars a year in their business. They're all doing 8 figures. There's a lot of real motherfuckers, right? And what's fascinating to me as I study this, because I feel like I'm a young buck in there, but I look around and it's fascinating to me to see the people who stand out in a crowd, even as respected, as dominant as that group. And you still find the people who stand out as the leaders, who stand out as people who, you know, everyone else looks to, right? And this is one of those dudes right here.
I appreciate
Brian, thanks for coming on, brother. I'm excited to have you on.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Dude.
I remember talking about that. I remember when I first saw you and met you, we sat at that dinner table together at his house.
Yeah, that's right.
And you stood out to me, and you've grown so much in that amount of time. And just you were younger than most people there. Your personality was larger than life. and you know, I remember that you stood out, and we definitely connected right away, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's hard when you don't connect with a dude like you, man. You just connect with everybody.
I appreciate that.
So Brian Nabavi, if you guys don't know who this is, we're gonna link everything so you can follow this dude on social media. Because let me just give you guys an idea right here. This dude turned his company from starting from $300 to over 8 figures. Yeah. In how long? Like, how long did it take you? Because I mean, $300 to 8 figures is a big jump.
It's been 9 years.
9 years.
The first 4 years were kind of spinning my wheel.
Absolutely.
A lot of struggle in those first 4 years. And then I kind of made some changes and jumped off. And then that's when I first started investing myself. I was original part of the Arte Syndicate, you know, Andy and Ed.
Right, yeah.
Mine. So 4 years I've been part of that group. Joined that, really started investing myself. Joined other groups and took off from there, basically. Yeah.
We're going to dive all into this, man. Oh, so all right. So Brian turned his company from $300 to over 8 figures. Main company is Till You Collapse Apparel, which I fucking love that, by the way.
Man. I'll tell you what the name means.
Oh, I love that. I love that name. He's a mindset and business coach and fitness coach, owner of a CBD cannabis, and is currently in the psychedelic industry, which is wild. I want to dive into that, man. Yeah, so you're a family man, you're an entrepreneur. Yep. If you look at this dude, if you're listening to this, you don't get to see this Greek god that we're looking at here, but he's fucking yoked, right? Trying, so he's clearly in the fitness industry, but bro, 8-figure business. You're diving into one of the most, you know, lucrative and exploding, you know, industries right now with psychedelics. All this stuff's happening. Bro, what's your story, man? Like, how the fuck did you get to this point?
A lot of work, man. A lot of work. Sure. So my story, I'll keep it short. So
no. Go all in, man.
Whatever you want me to do.
Because I want to know is like, how the fuck did you get here, man? So, you're doing incredible things. Sure. You got thousands of people listening to you every single day, right? Sure. What made you this dude?
Who I am, I was a fat kid growing up.
Dude, me too.
Yeah. So I was a fat kid growing up. And so at 13 years old, you know, back then I'm 39 years old. So at 13 years old, you can do the math. It's a long time, ancient days.
I'll get my calculator.
You know, I taught myself how to work out. I picked up 800-page Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding.
Really?
800 pages. And this kind of goes into the kind of person I am. I want you guys listening to this because it kind of segues into my life and who I am. You know, at 13 years old, I fucking took action and I read an 800-page book, taught myself to work out, started working out, lost weight through high school, became in amazing shape on my own, taking action, doing the work, educating myself. Yeah. No podcast back then, no social media, no like all these training gurus. Like I literally picked up a book and made it happen.
It's not Harry Potter. We're not talking about reading the 800-page Harry Potter book as a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
You're reading a workout book with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
For sure. And then,
what in the world?
Yeah. So then, you know, I've always been in sales. You know, I'm a half Persian. So Persians come out the womb hustling and bartering. And that's, you know, so I've always been into sales. It's been my thing. I love sales. 16 years old, my first job was a commission sales job. I sold tractors at Sears.
Did you really?
I worked with I worked with dudes that were making 6 figures selling tractors. So I came in as a 15-year-old and they were like 40, 50, 60 years. This is a profession. Like, who's this kid? And I started outselling them, you know, just always hustle, always selling, just natural born. Then I got into personal training, fitness, because that's what I loved, right? I started personal training at 18 years old, breaking company records at 24-hour fitness, selling, you know, $30,000, $40,000 a month in personal training, training 40, 50 hours a week, helping people change their lives, because I know how it changed my life. Fitness is my passion. This is why I'm in the fitness industry, my main company. Help people lose 100, 200 pounds, really impacted people's lives. Very, very fulfilling. I love it.
Right.
And then I made a mistake, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the darkest, lowest point I've been at, and really a vulnerable place. I left, you know, that was right when the real estate industry, right in 2006, 2005, right before the crash, it was really booming.
Everything's booming,
And a lot of my friends left the fitness industry. They got into mortgages, and you know, they were making 6, 7 figures, and I was like, you're nowhere near the salesman I am, sales ability, hustle ability. I'm like, if you guys are doing this shit, I'm gonna go make some money, right? And I left my passion and I chased the money. Big mistake. So I chased the money. I got in that industry. I was 25 years old, 24 years old, never seen money like that, come from just, you know, humble, you know, never really, as far as my growing up, we never really wanted anything, but it was just a middle of the road, you know, middle class. So, you know,
right.
But got into that and made crazy money. I mean, I made 6 figures my first month. And I never seen money like that. I wasn't even making 6 figures a year. And I go to make 6 figures in a month.
Big difference.
I'm young. I've never seen money like that. I'm like, let's ball out. You know, cars are my, I mean, I love cars. Cars are my thing.
Hey, same.
Start spending money. Like, you know, I'm going to make 100 grand a month every, you know, forever. And then the crash happens. And when the crash happens, you know, I didn't like it at all. It wasn't my passion. I was just doing it for the money, which when you do something for the money, you don't have any passion or meaning or purpose behind it. It's not going to sustain. When it gets rough, you're going to say you're not going to get through the trenches and keep going like with something you're passionate about, right?
Right.
So I remember this moment. I share this moment because it's very vivid, and I want you guys to picture this moment. So family, my wife, my kids, they're my everything. They're my driving force. They're why I do what I do. The freedom to have experiences and time with them is the initial thing that drove me to get into entrepreneurship and find out how to find success like this. Because, you know, I barely graduated high school. I didn't go to college. I'm not that educated of a dude. But it was a night, you know, I was 26 years old. It was 13 years ago. It's night. I'm behind on all my bills. Zero money. My bank account's overdrawn.
Damn.
20 grand in credit card debt.
Wait, you went from making 6 figures a month to what? Holy shit.
Yes.
Okay, okay, keep going, sorry.
So the crash happened. And I went from making 6 figures a month to nothing and this is probably
negative.
This is probably about 6 months into that. So I burnt through my savings. What little savings I did have.
Wow.
What little savings I did have. Because I did spend my money foolishly.
Right.
You know? Obviously.
That's bad.
And I kept trying to stay in that business. And, you know, I'm very stubborn and I like to work and I don't like to lose. And I like to win. And I control my outcome based on my work ethic and what I do, right? And I'm prideful of myself in that. So I kept trying. I'm going to figure out a way. And the crash kept getting worse.
Yeah.
And, you know, I probably should have left sooner than I did, but I was like, I'm going to get through this, burning through all my money. So it got to a point when it was like way beyond, you know, like I said, bank account overdrawn, living on credit cards, 20, 30,000 in debt. And I'm standing there with my wife, my 1-year-old first child, newborn son. At 25, I had my son, and we're pregnant with our second kid. And there's repo men trying to break into our house, get into our house.
Oh, geez.
So we turn off all the lights in our house. And this is a very low moment for me, guys. I'm always real and raw and vulnerable because it's real and it hurts. And it's probably the lowest pain point in my life as far as, you know, like I said, I pride myself in providing for my family. That's my most important job. And turn off all the lights, hiding in the dark with my wife and baby. They're banging on the door, banging on the windows. I remember seeing flashlights coming through the house, almost like they were raiding my house, it felt like.
Yeah.
But trying to take my car. only car we had, and I had, without a car, I had no transportation. I had no money to get a new car. So we're hiding from them, turn off the lights in the dark, and just remembering that moment, feeling as a failure as a husband, failure as a father. Like, that's the most important job I have, and I failed. And that chip that I fucking have on my shoulder, that moment, there's not a day still that I don't think about that. And that's what drives me. That dark place is why I still work at the insane level that I do, even though I have, quote unquote, a little bit of success. I feel like I'm so far from where I want to go. But that moment, I literally think about that shit every day, man. Like, it haunts me.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I said, I'm never leaving my passion again. Going back into fitness, I'm never leaving that again. I got back in the gym industry. I knew that I needed to make more money because I was building a family, you know, and I support them. So I need to make more money than personal trainers typically make. So I got into gym membership sales. And I started selling gym memberships, started from a bottom of the level gym counselor, basically. Within a year, you know, I'm a fucking hustler. Within a year, I went from that entry position to general manager of sales to the biggest clubs in the company. These gyms are over 100,000 square feet. So huge box gyms out in California.
Yeah.
Managing sales teams of 10, 15 people, gym membership sales, personal training sales, doing sales training, call training, daily calls. My teams were setting company records. And myself also, I'm a personal producer.
Yeah.
I was a top producer in the company on top of my team's personal production. So things are going, quote unquote, good. Started making, you know, over six figures. So, you know, over six figures.
Got right back to it.
But in that industry, it's 9 to 9, sometimes 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Didn't see my family.
Yeah.
And in California at that time, had 3 kids. I have 4 now, but continue to build my family.
Yeah.
In California, 150 grand a year with that many kids, you're still broke.
Right.
I'm barely paying my bills. I'm not really saving much.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing my family because I'm working my ass off to make this money, you know, missing their sports games, their practices, like, you know, that kind of stuff. And still in the back of my head, the initial thing that drove me before the family overtook that goal was the posters of cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course, naturally.
And I'm like, there's no way. I mean, I'm not going to drive cars like this going down this direction, you know? So I thought to myself, you know, what could I do? What kind of business could I start in the fitness industry? Because I'm not ever leaving my passion again. And I'm not a fashionable guy, you know, but I knew, okay.
Oh, come on. Anyone who checks out your social media is going to be like, bullshit. This dude's fashionable.
Maybe my shoes only.
Okay.
But you know, what could I do in the fitness realm where it's online? Because I wanted to make, you know, online. I knew online sales is going to be the next thing. You know, this is back.
Take me, what timeline are we talking here? Like, what years are this?
So this was about 2013.
Okay, all right. So we've gone over quite a span of all. Okay, gotcha. 2013 now.
Yeah, so it was from, so you figure 13 years ago is when I lost everything.
Yeah.
I was 26. And then I started the company when I was 31. So this is about 5 years after I was in the gym, just running, making money, going through the grind. So it's some amount of time.
Yeah, right.
But I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm not making money. I'm not seeing my family. And I have these big goals and aspirations. It's not going down the right road.
Right.
Even though I was making more money every year, but it was like, you know, small increments. Right. So I thought, I'm going to start a fitness apparel line because I had the hindsight that e-commerce is going to be big. This is right when it started booming. I want to make money from my phone. I want to make money from my phone.
Right.
I like e-commerce.
The flip phone?
Yeah. Exactly. Nokia. Yeah. And I'm going to start a fitness apparel brand. This is fitness. I'm not a really big apparel guy, but I know it's still in fitness. It's still my passion. I'm going to be able to drive behind it. Right. And I remember I made that decision. I went home and I stayed up all night. And I'm like, what's the name of this brand going to be? What's this brand going to be? And I came up with the name Till You Collapse. And this is one of the reasons why we have such a big return customer rate. We have such a culture on my brand is because it's not a normal fitness brand. Even just the name, Till You Collapse, you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And the name, what it means is, you know, like we do things that most won't to get to places most don't. We have a Till You Collapse mindset and work ethic. We leave it all on the field. 100% every single day of our effort towards our goals. That's how you reach your goals. Whether they're business, fitness, it's all encompassing name, meaning, You know, maybe not literally till you collapse, but figuratively till you collapse. If you give that kind of effort, that's how you reach your goals.
Yeah.
And most people don't realize that. They don't give that kind of effort. So that's the name I thought of the brand. That's what I live. That's who I am.
Yeah.
That's why I was so good at, you know, my fitness, my business, sales. I was at the top because of that.
Right.
Even though I was in that box, I was still at the top in that box
Right.
because of that kind of work ethic.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I went on Photoshop that same night. This is like all night. I stayed up. Literally, I remember this moment. I taught myself, figured out my little logo, my first design, and I made 25 t-shirts, 25 tank tops, $300. Designed my own website on GoDaddy. I mean, everything for the first year, I was top to bottom, every position of the company.
Yeah.
You know, customer service, shipping, photographer,
Dude,
fulfillment.
People, that's what, like, as an entrepreneur, you are everything. You're doing it all, man.
And back then, there's no podcast.
Yeah.
There's none of this stuff there is now today.
Yeah.
I'm figuring this all out on my own on Google.
Yeah.
And I'm not the sharpest tool in this shit. I'll go over what I'm really good with you guys, but I'm horrible at a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I'm just good at a few things, and I just double, triple down on that shit, right?
Right.
And I made the designs, and they were horrible. They look like a fifth grader made them. Literally.
Yeah.
That's real.
Right.
You know, that's real.
Yeah.
And they sold out. People supported me because they supported the meaning of the brand, the message of the brand. Like with any brand, as long as you build a brand and you make sure it's who you are, it's real.
Yeah.
People know that. It resonates with something. It has a mission and a message behind it. And they knew I was that person. It wasn't some show or something. They supported me. That's why it sold. Even though the design, like I said, was questionable. They had pride because they know me and they know that they resonate with that message. They wore it.
Right.
Like when you wear my clothes, I want you to have pride in what this name means across your chest.
Yeah.
You're going to put in that work. If you don't put in that work, take off my fucking clothes. Like literally, that's how important it is to me. Like you know, I don't want to see someone going half-ass wearing my clothes. Like take my shirt off.
Right.
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
It's that important.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So for the first year and a half, I did both because I needed to still pay my bills. So literally 7 to 7 at the gym, dinner with my family, 9 p.m. till 1, 2 a.m., 20, 22-hour days. Yeah. Building both, burning the candle at both ends, which no balance. When you know, there's times when you can't have balance when you're building.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And after that time, I started grossing 6 figures, which we know in business, not that much. Grossing 6 figures.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, still going somewhere.
Going from 300.
In the right direction.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, in the right direction. But I knew at that point, I was like, okay, there's something here. Barely enough money to pay my bills, if that. Yeah. But I can't keep doing both because they're both. This job was suffering. This business was suffering because you know when you're working that much, it's not sustainable for that long a time.
No way. Yeah.
So I was going to quit my job and the gym was trying to get me a promotion. They had a 200 grand position, district general sales manager. You know, they were baiting me with that. Like, don't leave, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm still not going to live the life I want of freedom and drive the kind of cars I want. Right. I'm onto something. Everybody thought I was crazy. Yeah. Everybody talked shit about me. You know, they thought I was copying different brands. My brand's designs were horrible. Friends, people within the town. You hear it. You hear them talk. You hear all that shit. And my family, my father-in-law was like, you're going to support your family selling t-shirts? Like, you know, old school, like they didn't realize online and social media. And stuff. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I have faith in myself because I know I'm never going back to that place, that chip on my shoulder. I will never go back there. Yeah. So took that leap. And for the after that, the next 3 years after that, so the first 4 years, I mean, I was working 15-hour days even after that initial building phase. Right. And I want you guys to listen to this because this is what you guys don't listen, you guys don't realize. You want to take the elevator. I always say take the stairs. Yeah. There's no shortcut. You cannot get around time. Yeah. And you know this. In this entrepreneur game, it takes time. And everyone wants to take that shortcut to get around it. There's no time. You got to pay your dues. And there's different industries and there's different scenarios. Some people take a year or two. Some will take 5 years. Some people take 10 years. There's no like box for it. Yeah. But just you have to go into it realizing it's probably going to take me a long time to start getting where I want to be. Right. Yeah. Right. And so first 4 years of 15-hour days, I wasn't even making enough money to pay my bare bills. I had no savings. Damn. I had no savings. So this is what I want you guys to do. And this is real. Right. And this is why people don't do that for 2 months and they crumble. Yeah. I did this shit for 4 years.
That's what I was about to say. I like 4 years, man. That's 4 Christmases. That's 4 birthdays for each of the kids. Like, that's a long ass time.
And the only way I paid my bills, like, we have 0 savings, and I'm not living this lavish life. Like, I'm not saving money every month. Like, I'm hustling on the side, doing shit I probably shouldn't do, just to make money to keep my lights on and not go to that place that I'll never go, hell or high water, back. For 4 years.
Yeah.
And I went, and the first year was like $100 grand. Second year was like 120. Then it was like 140. Then it was the fourth year, 80. We took a significant 80 grand gross in California with a family of 5 at that point.
Oh, jeez.
With no savings.
Right. Jeez.
Just picture that, right?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like, okay. And the whole time, I was doing it out of my garage, out of my trunk. People remember me still. You would go meet people, slang leggings and t-shirts out of my trunk, right?
Yeah.
And they still talk about it locally. And, I still actually to this day, a few weeks ago, I went and sold some shit out of my trunk. It was a Lambo truck now, but before it was a run me down, hand me down. The car's changed, but I'm still that same dude. No matter what level of success, I'm grounded and I don't ever remember forget where I came from. And I'll still do those things. That's just who I am. So at the 80 grand, I'm like, okay, I got to get this out of my house. This is a real business.
Yes.
I need, even though this is I have no savings. This is the lowest month year I've ever had.
Right.
I have a 200 grand job sitting here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Easy way. Just, okay, fuck it. Safety. Let me go 200 grand. This is crazy. This is worth almost cutting half my revenue.
Yeah. Right.
I said, fuck it. I'm going to go double down and take an even bigger risk and go to my first warehouse. This is a real business. I need to go to a warehouse. I need to treat this like a real business, level up my content. I totally revamped my whole website. I went from GoDaddy, which was dog shit, and I finally got on Shopify, which is a lot better. Totally redid my website, totally redid my products. I sourced new products. I went from doubled my price, doubled my product, went more from I have a lot of women's apparel. That's my main thing is women's apparel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And very similar people compare us to Lululemon as far as look, quality, that kind of stuff, just a little lower price point, basically. So I totally revamped that. And then I totally revamped our whole affiliate program. I started really doubling down on affiliates. I still at this point wasn't even in Facebook, Instagram ads. It was mainly just transition all my website, my product, my pricing, and got some influencers starting to post it. And we went from 80 grand to 1.1 million in 7 months.
That's what I'm talking about.
So like life changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
With
Yeah.
very little overhead.
Yeah.
Very little ad spend. Like life changing.
Yeah.
And like that was when everything kind of started to change. And that's when I started to, Andy's podcast for the last year or two. I really was listening to that. And Andy, I resonate a lot with him. We're very similar in ways.
Well, shout out to Andy, man.
Yeah. He knows. Yeah. He's changed my life. His podcast. And then that's why I got into Arte Syndicate. And I never invested in myself. And I went from broke as hell, never invested in myself, to here's $50,000. Let me level up and learn.
For a weekend.
Well, back then it was for the year.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
So it was different how they initially did. There was two groups and there was that initial group. And then I've been a part of that group ever since, and I've joined other groups since then, but really leveling up, really doubling down. And ever since then, we've been growing ever since. And that's been 4 years since then, and kind of got to this point. And the things that I'm really good at, honestly, is I'm just consistent to a sickening way. Like I'm very, very consistent. I take massive, massive action very, very quickly. I still don't know what I'm doing half the time. I just do it. And then my work ethic. Obviously, I talked about it. Like I have insane work ethic. I actually love the work, and then the discipline that goes with that. Like I'm very, very disciplined. And those are the things. And I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, those are very important things as far as your foundation that you need. Other than that, I went from 0 to 1.1 million with that. And then I'm like, okay, I really need to dive in and learn some strategy. And this is my education, right? And now I'm starting to level up. And that's really got me from that level to where I'm at now, basically.
Right.
And that's the basics. So we're here now, and it's been a ride. It's been 9 years, and it's crazy,
dude. There's so much to unpack.
Yeah.
But dude, number one, dude, like when you say leap, it is a leap. Like what people don't understand, it's not a step. In entrepreneurship, when there are levels, there are barriers that you have to overcome, right? And it's different for everybody, different for each industry. But the second you start to move forward, you're always going to encounter this point of tension that's like, why am I not growing, right? Why am I not growing? You know why? It's because the universe, or whatever you want to call it, requires a bigger sacrifice. Like it is a spiritual game.
Yeah,
I tell people like this all the time. Entrepreneurship, fitness, it's not about your body. It's not about the money. This shit's spiritual, dude.
Yeah,
This shit's spiritual. What are you willing to pay? Because what you're willing to pay is, number one, let me just break this down. Just in case you guys didn't hear this, making 6 figures a month to, almost having shit repoed, right? To then going back to security, quote unquote, right? Let's talk that you go back to potential security where you have a job, and then you
that's 6 figures a month. I did have shit repoed. They did repo. Right. No, I lost all my cars, had nowhere to live. Like that was the story of me remembering hiding from them. Yeah. But then eventually
they did get it.
I just yeah.
Okay, so now we're actually getting it repoed, so it's even worse.
Yeah, no.
And then here's what's fascinating though. Is you go back to a place where I guarantee your family, probably your wife, kid, or everything, and everything in you just said, just stay here, man, you're good. Like it's okay. You're doing fine. You don't have to push. You're doing okay. As a matter of fact, you're top dog at the gyms, bro. You're top dog. Yeah. You're doing good. Yeah. I guarantee you had that demon in your head whispering to you every day saying, wow, bro. And this is what I tell everybody. And I hear this all the time. If someone ever comes to you and they say, bro, relax, man. Life's not that serious. Yeah. Motherfucker, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Life is that serious, bro. If you got dreams, you got ambition, it is that serious.
I was in a good place. And the thing I was in a good place doing what I love. I love sales and I love fitness.
But good is the enemy of great, man.
It is.
And you're amazing at sales, sounds like. I want to talk to you about that. Yeah. But then let's go. So then you have the security. And once again, you give up the security to go back to a life where you have no savings, and look, the truth is, there's no security either way. I believe in that, but at least when it's all on you and all on your shoulders, you just take on all the pressure, right? Yeah. Now you got all this pressure, and guess what? It's still going downhill from there, right? Yeah. Your revenue's still going down. Yep. And so what do? You pay an even bigger sacrifice. You dive in even deeper. And it's because of that barrier that you leapt, that you jumped into it, that rewarded you on who you're able to become, what you're able to accomplish after that. Dude, it's this fucking leap. It's this sacrifice that people don't understand. That's why I'm sure you have people reach out to you like, bro, how'd you do it? You go, you do the scariest thing you could possibly think of. You dive in. For years.
Not a month or not a year. like you know what I mean? They don't realize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, like going year to year and even seeing it decline with all that pressure. Because again, dude, I just want people to understand this context. What you said is so important. I know you had people talking.
Oh, whole time.
I know you had people, family, friends, everybody. The ones that hurt the worst, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then people at the gyms, people who see you out selling on social media. Yeah. I guarantee you had people.
That fueled my fire.
That shit, right? But that shit also could very well you could have used that as everything to just stop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you know how many entrepreneurs I talk to or potential entrepreneurs? It's like, I tried it, but man, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? You're right because you said it's not for you, bro. You're exactly right.
I'm very stubborn. I have no quit in me, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I went so long trying to push and burnt through all my savings and really got in a bad place when I should have just left that industry the second it started tanking.
Yeah.
I don't like to quit.
Yeah.
I like to work.
Yeah.
And I'm stubborn. So combine that shit together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, dude, so when you talk about the plan B option that was like sitting in your head, the $200K a year potential, right? Dude, that's dangerous. There's nothing more dangerous than that because it constantly pulls back at you, right?
Yeah.
And I've said, you are your own plan B, right?
For sure.
And our Andy said, plan Bs are for fucking losers. Yeah. You're your backup plan. That's 100%. Why I like that you start, like when you talk about your story, it's sales, man.
Yeah.
I come from a sales background. Nice. If you know sales, then guess what? You can always fall back on your own ability. No matter what happens, if you lose the warehouse, you lose all the stuff, you can always fall back on you and your car or you and your ability to just go out and sell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the most primal way of making money.
100%.
Go knock door to door.
And there's no limit to that. That's a nice thing.
Exactly. It's all on you. Yeah. Right.
So that's why I've always liked sales.
I agree. That provides me with the quote unquote security blanket of I know I can always perform. I can always make 6 figures because I know how to do it.
100%.
Right? Whether I go sell it on my trunk or go knock door to door, right?
100%.
So, okay, talk to me about this, right? How did you then transition we're talking fitness and we're talking apparel to now you're doing stuff like, I'm actually really excited about this
for sure.
with psychedelics and the cannabis industry. Where did that come from?
So the cannabis industry, I had a CBD/cannabis company with a partner. And that was a company we started a couple years ago.
Okay.
I'm not currently part of it.
Got it.
Basically bought out of it, but it was a company to start just because for me, I'm interested in like with the psychedelics that I'm starting to get into now is I'm interested in things that are from the earth healing abilities and things that take place of pharmaceuticals. Because these pharmaceutical companies are horrible. The effects on your body are horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm very much into health and fitness and eating right and taking care of your body. And this kind of goes into it. Like we all have things we deal with, but if you need something to deal with them, pick something natural. Not some pills and shit like that. It's because so many, you take this to help with this and you have these 5 other side effects from it. The pharmaceutical industry is horrible. Like they make money off keeping you sick.
Yes. That's what, so I want to ask you about this then, because you're obviously in the industry, because when we talk about pharmaceuticals, right? Really, if you look at the timeline of pharmaceuticals and how things kind of came about on mass production scale, we really started happening. I mean, you kind of saw the 1970s, 1980s, but really the 90s and early 2000s, you see mass production, like tons of money coming into these pharmaceutical companies, right?
Yep.
And we're talking about just printing, like honestly, printing pills.
Yeah.
Like these, like just constantly pumping out pills, right? Constantly just, what's the word is when it's not natural, when it's I forgot the word. When it's just basically fake, right?
Synthesized.
That's it. Synthesized. Thank you. Yeah, synthesized.
Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing now though is this movement the other way. And I think we can credit Joe Rogan for that. No, just kidding. This movement the other way back to actually everything natural and why natural is so important.
100%.
And we're talking even like cannabis.
Yeah.
We're talking about, like mushrooms. We're talking about, kombucha sometimes. Like we're talking about natural remedies and how our bodies are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So what got you into like research that, understanding more about that?
Well, just with the psychedelics, like I told you, it's something that's more recent for me. And you got people like Joe Rogan talking about it, and I, obviously doing what we're around a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of successful people. And I kept hearing it. It kept coming up in conversations. And even from like people that I wouldn't expect, you see people and they seem kind of like square and proper and shit like that, which I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
But like you see that. And then all of a sudden he talks about how successful they are. And then they talk about how they microdose. And I'm like, I hear little things here and there. And I'm like, what is this? What's going on? And I'm like, with anything, I do my own research. I teach myself. That's kind of my MO. Yeah. So I started researching it, researching Google and stuff like that. And just seeing the benefits and the articles and what's going on and how the industry is going. And I'm like, wow, I want to try this, And so for the last 4 months, I've been microdosing every day. And it's like I said, it's impacted me. It's very subtle. It's hard to explain unless you actually do it. But there's a big list of benefits. Yeah. I'll read them off. Let me read them off. I'll show you on my phone. So I don't have a memorized.
While you're pulling that up, people don't understand. Like you just showed it to me. Like, and I think we had this conversation. Like you got like these chocolates that are coming out, like ways to actually like consume it on like a easy base. Like it's nothing like crazy.
No,
like,
it's nothing crazy. You're not eating raw mushrooms. It's all dose and it's nice and it's convenient and
it looks dope.
And it's honestly, it's like cannabis was 8 to 10 years ago. And it's an industry that's moving forward. It's legal in certain places. It's even funny because in my state of California, it's legal not in the whole state, but in certain counties. It's just weird how they do it.
That's fascinating.
It's weird how they do it.
And what's so fascinating is like, why is it so hard to like legalize this stuff? Like even with cannabis, what's the pushback on this? I just really want to understand
why.
I do know why. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like this pushback.
The same reason we've been dealing with this bullshit for the last couple years.
Right. Yeah.
So here's a list of benefits from microdosing. And here's the thing. A lot of people I talk to, they're kind of like, they're unsure. They think of like the trip. Like if you take a bunch, yes, you have those mind-altering moments and those big trips, which I've never done.
Which I think that's the same with Xanax. I think that's the same with Percocets. Yeah. That's the same with alcohol. You take a lot of alcohol, man, you're in a different universe, bro. So it's the same thing with anything. Like you like everything has to be taken. Dude, you drink too much of that shit, the caffeine, you're fucked.
You're gonna have a heart attack.
My wife almost had like a stroke because before I met her because she didn't eat anything for 2 days. She was working her ass off and was just living off of Monsters and rock stars. Drank 3 a day, went to the hospital because that's how dangerous that shit is in caffeine. So no shit. If you take too much, it's gonna go wild.
Anything in excess. Anything.
Exactly.
I mean, you drink a bottle of alcohol, look what happens.
Yeah, you get fucked.
Anything.
So so you're talking about microdosing. Keeping it on the small level. Okay, gotcha.
So here's a list of benefits, basically. I'm going to read down this list, and I want you guys to listen to this and see if any of this resonates with you and anything that you think you could use help with. So list of benefits for microdosing mushrooms. Improved focus, concentration, and mindfulness. Improved energy, wakefulness, and stimulation. Cognitive benefits such as enhanced problem solving, social benefits, reduce anxiety, creativity, reduce symptoms such as stress, improve mood, optimism, and life appreciation, improve body function, self-efficiency, including improve ambition, productivity, and motivation. So it's just crazy, that list.
Yeah.
You hear that list, it's stuff that like, I feel like you and I and people in our level, we're already like at a higher level of that kind of stuff. A lot of people need help with that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
People like us, we're already kind of got that
Yeah.
on a different level than most people. But can you imagine people like us taking that even to another little clip?
Yeah. Enhance creativity. Dude, I'm thinking about the creativity, right?
Which I need help with because I'm not a creative person.
Well, yeah, you are. Come on, give yourself some credit, bro. To figure that shit out.
I'm a workhorse, man. I'm a workhorse.
Hey, dude, but like, workhorse who can figure out Google. And here's actually, no, I'm serious. That's actually a skill set.
Yeah.
Do you know who Alex Ramosi is? Shout out to Alex, by the way.
Yeah,
I listened to Alex talking about
he's
how
Persian. We're connected.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was.
Yeah. We're automatically brothers if we're Persian.
Of course, naturally you guys are.
Yeah.
You guys have that Persian skin. No.
Yeah, it's good.
So Alex, I was fascinated when I listened to him when he was talking about how he started because he was in the fitness industry, in the gyms. You know what he did? He said, "Here's what I did," and he goes to the next slide. Google. I was like, I'm like looking at him, and he starts going down. He's like, I literally Googled these 4 things: how to run ads, how to build a website, I forgot the whole list, but I have a video of it because I was like, wait, you Googled it. Yeah. And I know, because funny, because I YouTubed it when I started, but to me, I'm like, Google, wait. Yeah. And I'm like, that's how simple it is. Do you know how much information is out there for free that someone could take advantage of right now?
And everyone DMs us asking us questions. They could just go over to Google.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, that's why I say you are creative. You know why? Because when you pull up Google, there's, 20, however many pages when you search one thing, right? But it's the creative who can piece all that stuff together and come up with a game plan. Because when you have, there's the difference between, back in the day, there used to be not enough information. It was really hard to get information. You had to read newspapers. Oh, yeah. It's really hard. Oh, yeah. Now there's too much information. That's true. So it's a new problem of sifting through this information, and only someone who's creative, like with what you're doing, to sift through that with your game plan in mind and your vision to be able to maintain that vision. Yeah. Because you know what happens with people when there's too many things is they get all these different things and it distracts their vision. Of course, right? Sets them on a different pace, because I guarantee you had opportunities for crypto. Oh, yeah, right? For sure. I guarantee you had people pitching you crypto. Oh, yeah. I guarantee you had people pitching all this stuff on your journey. I got into crypto a little bit. I made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money in crypto. I've been all over the place with that shit. So, stuff. No, you know what I mean? So, I've definitely tried different things for sure. So all right, let me ask you this, because I'm actually doing stuff with like apparel too, right? Nice. But like anyone out there, what's the key to apparel? Because you've been through the bad and the good. You're doing 8 figures, right? 8 figures in apparel is a lot. I just want people to understand this. 8 figures in apparel. We're talking about t-shirts and leggings and stuff. Yeah. That's a massive amount of movement of product, right? Yeah. So what's the key to the apparel business?
Let me just be clear too, because I like to keep everything real. We're not doing 8 figures a year. Yet. Okay. We're doing over 8 figures total gross.
That's still $10 million, right?
In the last 3 years.
Okay, so that's badass.
So I'm not.
Okay, we're talking maybe $3 million a year.
I like to keep it real.
That's right.
That's who I am.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be. I know.
So we're talking like maybe $3 million this year.
More than that. Okay. So we were right at the knocking door of 8 figures a year right before COVID. Okay. So we were growing like this right there. Right. I mean, the next year we were projecting like 12 million. Right. COVID hit. The last 2 years have been very difficult. Supply chain issues, not having product to sell, people not going to the gym, not caring what they're wearing. A lot more competition than ever. There's fitness apparel, leggings brands more than ever right now. Right, so people have more options than ever to go their places. True. And then right now with inflation, how fast everything's going up. A lot of our clientele is middle class. All their free money. Think about how much is more expensive gases, groceries, stuff like that. All their free income that they would spend on apparel and leggings, my customer base is spending their money to survive right now.
Especially in California.
So it's been hard. I've had to pivot. 2020, we were growing 100% year over year for the last 3 years. COVID, we kind of flatlined 5%. Last year, we took a dip. Like I said, I keep it real. This game is not sunshine and rainbows. It's fucking hard, right? Yeah. But I manage my money great. There's no quit in me. So we pivoted, we made some changes, and now we're back on the up and up. So we're going in the right direction. So with apparel, like I said, make sure your apparel, because apparel is the #1 starter industry out there. Because like I said, you can start an apparel company with $300-400. It's very low barrier of entry. Very low.
Right.
So everybody wants to have a company. I'm going to start a t-shirt company.
Yeah.
They start a t-shirt company. Where does that go?
Yeah.
You have the one up because you know how to sell shit. You know how to build things online. You know funnels. You know how to create that. That's the number one issue. You got to get that structured in.
Right.
But then you have to create, okay, what is different about your apparel brand? What is different about you? I feel like you already have that made. Alpha, your brand, what you've done at such a young age, who you are, just resonate that through the apparel brand. Have that show through the apparel brand. People will feel that. Use your skills online, selling, that kind of stuff. And that's all you need to do. And then it's going to build over time.
Yeah.
And just stay consistent with that. It's nothing magic, no crazy magic secret.
Yeah.
You have the basics there. You are who you are. What is your brand? Is it the Alpha brand?
Yeah, Alpha. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And that's who you are. And that's who you represent. So that there's nothing you need to do other than what you're already doing in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly.
Right. It's fascinating. What you just said actually clicked something in my head because you're talking about everyone has an apparel brand. But like but what's fascinating is when you're saying that, like, hey, there's more competition than ever. I'm like, so what sets you apart as you're saying that? And then you said something. I'm like, dude, it's the fucking community. Yeah. It's the message behind the brand because you know what? Everyone's wearing next level t-shirts.
Of course.
Like this one's next level, right?
This is next level.
We all like it, especially in the fitness industry. We love these shirts. Fit tight around the shoulders. But you know what we love? We love the message. 100%. We love the community, right? Yeah. We want to feel a part of something. And that's what sets it apart, especially today, because everyone's got the same 100%. Shit. It's just what's like your fucking community, right?
Nobody has till you collapse. That meaning behind till you collapse. Alpha, what's the meaning behind that? And make sure you consistently resonate that with your clients and your customers and make sure you live that, which you do. Right. Because if you don't live it, they're going to find out. Yeah. And they're not going to support you.
Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you this then. So as you're pivoting, right, what's the next phase for you and your business or where you're heading right now?
Honestly, I'm just doubling down and focusing on getting that company to where we were to over 8 figures actually a year. We're going in that direction. So I'm putting the focus in that. I'm focusing on my coaching and mentorship, which I like. I think I'm going to transition that over into more of a group thing because right now I'm doing the one-on-one calls, which I like because I like the personal touch, but it's honestly, it's very hard to manage and the time. It's a time suck.
You're taking time for money. Again, you really are.
Yeah, for sure. So
in a high ticket way. But
and I'm doing great. I love my clients. I've gotten people amazing results. I love the feeling of giving back and helping because I want truly everyone to win. Yeah. I want everyone to win. Right. So I think I'm going to do more of a group coaching thing. Like, everyone's kind of going in that route, but just who I am and based on what I do. And then obviously with the psychedelics, continue to get into that and build that as that industry grows. That's crazy at the growth right now. I've seen even the last 6 months I've been involved in it. It's crazy.
I just remember something because you said chip, but that's the name of your brand, right?
Microchip.
Microchip. So you're going like,
it's not my brand. It's the brand I'm a part of.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm looking to get into.
I showed it to you.
But
because I was fascinated. I'm like, did that have something to do? Because you're like part of your message, like the chip on my shoulder.
That was I came into that. That was not done by me. Yeah, that was not done by me. But it's great. Perfect. It's great branding and look.
It is. Yeah, microchip. That's fascinating. So, okay, where are you going with that? If you don't mind me asking, with the microchip and the psychedelics. Where do you see the future of that?
I see the future of that is I see that like the cannabis industry 8-10 years ago. I see like the benefits from that. Like I read that list and like I said, it's something that I've taken that I've really gotten the most results from and I've felt consistently better from.
What's the biggest difference you've seen from
for me, man? It's just the creativity, because you saw that big list. So the stuff I really feel like on that list, I'm good at a lot of that stuff. I don't have a problem, but it's very subtle too. The creativity, the focus. I really get a lot of focus and a lot of you really like lock in. It's just crazy. The energy too. I even like before I work out. It's crazy, like the focus I have in the workout, the way I feel my body. Like it's just crazy.
So okay, why do I hear from a lot of dudes in the fitness industry they like to actually cannabis or like weed before they work out, and now you're talking to me about like psychedelics. What is it about that helps you? And
I've liked smoking cannabis before I work out.
Walk me through that, Dan. What is that about like smoking weed before a workout or even psychedelics before a workout? Why does that help?
It's just because with fitness, the mind to muscle connection.
Yes, right.
And it really hones you into that, and you really focus and feel your body, and it really connects.
Yeah,
and that's you see really successful bodybuilders talking about it, and the better you are at that, the more results you get, as opposed to just going in there and slinging around weight. And I don't know. Have you ever smoked before? Do you smoke?
Yeah.
So have you smoked before you worked out?
No, I've never done it before.
You've never done that?
No, never. That's why I'm asking.
Okay,
I've actually never smoked before a workout.
Like I said, I'm going to send you some of those microchips.
Yeah.
I want you to start to take them, see what you think regardless, but try one before you work out. And I promise you're gonna hit me up and be like, it's amazing.
That is such a good name.
Yeah.
Dude, you just said that. I'm like, that is such a good branding name. I'm gonna send you some microchips. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Because like what's fascinating, like it reconnects neural pathways in the brain. And you're talking about the creativity, the focus. Yeah. So, because like what people don't understand about the brain, like the brain is firing out how many neurons, per second, whatever, but those neurons die.
And it just makes you feel good. It's almost like that sense of, and the best way to explain it is, like we all have our great days and we have our shitty days. We control our hustle and heart when we wake up. We control our attitude. And I know for us, for the most part, we get out of bed on the right foot. But still, there's days, honestly, when we're not. Like everyone, we're human. Yeah. But I feel like, those days when like everything's going right and you're like, fuck, it's clicking, boom, boom, boom. You're in a good mood. You're like, damn, this is a fucking amazing day. Like everything's going your way.
Right, yeah.
I feel like the best way to explain it is like that sense of well-being and that feeling. It's like it's more of that consistently for some reason.
Interesting.
And it's all in your head, right?
That's fascinating.
And it's hard to explain unless you actually experience it. Yeah. But I noticed that with it too, So it's just, and I've never taken Adderall. Okay.
Really?
I've never taken Adderall, but people have.
That's fascinating you say that if you come from a sales background. Because in sales, it's crack cocaine and Adderall.
All the salesmen I know around me, coked out. A lot of people taking coke and Adderall. I've never been into that ever.
Me neither.
But
me neither. I don't want to get on that.
People have said it reminds them sometimes of Adderall, almost like it's nature's Adderall, which I don't know how to relate that because I've never fucked with it. And I really don't even know what Adderall does, to tell you the truth.
Dude, so it's one of the, for me, is like, for what I understand, Adderall is one of the other. You already have too much energy, like your ADHD, so you take Adderall to calm you down, or you don't have ADHD and you take Adderall to just go fuck, and like just gets you like wired. Okay.
So that's what people have said too. So
maybe all you Adderall junkies can tell me if I'm wrong, but
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. But I know in the sales industry it's massive, right? Now, actually, I want to ask you a couple more things. Your shirt.
Yeah.
I actually want everyone on this podcast who can actually watch this. I'm just going to read it. So, put the cart back.
Yeah.
I know what that comes from, but I want you to talk about that. Like, why that shirt? Why that message? Like, what the hell does that even mean? Put the cart back. So anyone who's seeing this, you see it right on the shirt. Put the cart back. Sure. But if you're listening to this, that's what it says. Yeah. Why? What is that?
I mean, it's honestly, it's one of the core values. It's honestly one of my core values. Yeah. It's funny to believe. It's how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. And it's the real little things that you do, especially when no one's watching. When no one's watching who you are, the real you, that is what really gets you the results. And that's who you are and who you reflect. Like the little things, if you don't compromise on doing the little things, like people don't put the cart back because they say, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, it's who cares? It's just putting the cart back.
It's that kid's job.
Yeah. But those little compromises in the work or the effort to do that, even that littlest thing, it's like a cancer. It starts to spread. And those little things lead to like medium-sized compromises, and those medium compromises lead to bigger compromise, like that no compromise mentality. Yeah. It feeds into that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like for example, I do a lot of stairs, and I post it consistently on my story just for accountability and let people know I do what I fucking talk about. Right. Like at 5 a.m., I do the stairs. Yeah. Sometimes at 11 p.m., midnight, I'm still up doing the stairs. That, that's the reality of it. And there's times when like, I'm supposed to do 30 minutes and I'll do 25 minutes, get off, and I still struggle with this. I'm real. I get off and I do my stairs in the dark like Batman. Like I have a stair stepper in my garage, like the real stairs in my garage, and I have one in my gym too, but I just fasted at my house real quick. And I do it in the dark. It's kind of calming to me. And I get down and I go walk to the door. This is at midnight. I'm exhausted. I work 15-hour days. I already did the stairs for 30 minutes in the morning. I already worked out for an hour. It's like my third little fitness workout of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gets to the door. I'm like, fuck you, bitch. And I literally have this internal conversation with myself.
Yeah.
That not skipping out on the little things, no compromises. Right. I'm in the dark. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And I literally go back and I finish the 5 minutes and then I go back in the house. But people don't realize like how important this is. If you truly want to be successful, who you are at the core, those core things that I said I'm good at, including this kind of stuff, is really the separator, those small percentages over time. Because if you can't do this shit, I've never met anybody that doesn't live like this that's super successful. And it's not rocket science. It's not by chance. A lot of us successful guys, you hear us talking, you, me, Andy, Ed, all these guys that we are friends with and we follow, we all sound similar. We talk about similar shit, maybe in little different ways with different personalities. We have our own spin. We're not copying each other. It's because we actually live this shit, and this is what's required to get to the levels that we've gotten to. That's why.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right. Well, it's fascinating. I don't know if you know the statistic, but or really not the study that was done. I was fascinated if you. I think you probably do, but the study of how to know if you're a good citizen or like a good citizen or good for the community of human beings. And what do they say? One of the best judges of if you're a good citizen or you're good for the community of other human beings, meaning you look out for other people, is if you put the cart back. I don't know if you go research the study.
Really?
Yeah, go look this up. That's why I'm curious because if you haven't known that, go look this up because they say. It's such a small thing that you do, right? It's such a small thing. And honestly, it's just a couple more steps over there to put it away, right? Or whatever it is, right? But they break down the science of someone who's more willing to set that there and they're more willing to put that burden on somebody else than they are to go just a couple more steps out of the way to make someone else's job easier. There's a reason why they have those things in the parking lot to designate where the carts go. Why? Because they don't want carts everywhere and anywhere. So all they ask us to do is to put it back in that space. And so they talk about the psychology of the humans who are willing to take those extra steps. It could be cold, could be raining, could be a really hot day. You could be in a hurry, could be a lot of things. But just a couple more steps just to put it away because because you see the good, not only for yourself, but for others. Yeah. That's the key is you will do a small act in order to be a benefit to others, right? Yeah. So they did the psychology test of the way to test if someone's a good citizen or really just a good human being in regards to how they care about the community is by if they could put the cart back or not. That's funny. You have to go look at that study. And could they go through the psychology of it? It's fascinating, right? So put the cart back, motherfuckers, right?
But here's the thing. Think about how many people don't. Yeah. And that's just a telltale sign of like why us doing what we do, we're such a small percentage out of everyone out there. Most people don't. In
the study, it's actually fascinating. You know Harmons? The difference between Harmons and Walmart? They studied the different parking lots of these different stores. Harmons is more likely to have less carts out and in the right places than Walmart.
Walmarts are crazy, man.
Fascinating. Dude, it's fascinating stuff, man. You got to go look at it because like Walmart, you see carts everywhere. Like but you go to like a Harmons where it's like a little more nicer, a little more expensive place. What do you get? Yeah. Right. So it's fascinating, man. So I love that message, dude. And that's why
away from Walmart. I've paid my dues at Walmart. I've been in my fair shares at Walmart.
I love it, man. Well, dude, listen, man, we spit some fire on this thing, right? But if there's one thing you want to leave our audience with, what would it be?
Man, I mean, kind of resonate with what I said. Just take action. Leap forward. If you're thinking about something, just do it. Because that's half the thing. Like when I coach these guys and I mentor these guys, number one thing is not taking action, thinking about it too soon. And then number two thing is not believing in themselves. Half the time you have all the tools you need, you can get the job done, except you don't believe in your fucking self. Yeah. That confidence and that belief in yourself, which comes from doing. Yeah. It comes from losing. Yeah. You're going to lose more than you win. I've lost more than I won. You have to lose to win. All these motherfuckers don't want to lose. You're never going to win. It's like a little and never-ending circle. Yeah. It's like they don't believe in themselves because they've never taken action to trust themselves to lose or win, to get that confidence, build that grit, and build that confidence up. They're just stuck in this little cycle, and they don't do anything. They just stand there.
Yeah, and complain.
That's it. Yeah. And it's not rocket science. Stop trying to complicate this stuff. Look at the basics we talked about. Pay your fucking dues. It's going to take time and just get started. Let's not overcomplicate. There's nothing complicated here. Yes. But it's like mind blowing to people. Yeah. And that's fine because we're doing what we do. Yeah. We're living it, right? You can do you. Work 9 to 5 and keep talking shit about us driving the cars we drive. That's right. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Right. And we earned every fucking thing we have. Damn straight. You know what I mean? Yeah. So say what you want.
Multiple times over.
Yeah.
We've been through.
Yeah. Shit.
Dude, man, I appreciate you coming on. So man. Brian Nabavi, guys, make sure you go follow this dude on Instagram. We're going to link everything here. What's the best place we can send people? Like Instagram, where can people get a hold of you?
Instagram's the best.
Instagram. Yeah, okay. Do you have a website we want to send anyone?
Just my first and last name, both. So at Brian Nabavi is my Instagram.
See, I keep fucking up his name. So I apologize.
It's all good. Is my Instagram and my website. Both.
All right, we're gonna make sure we link all this down below. Yeah. Make sure you guys go check out Till You Collapse Apparel. I appreciate and look out for these microchips. I'll post out about it. I'm gonna start it, microdosing, and I'm gonna let you know how it goes. Dude, I'm grateful to have you on, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh yeah.